Hello and welcome to our overview session today on the Employability Soft Skills and Leadership Soft Skills online courses. What we'll be doing in our minutes together today, we'll be taking a high-level overview look of the content of each course. We will show and share the student and instructor dashboards. We will actually take you out to the host site and we will walk through an entire sample lesson with you today so that you can see how all the pieces work together. We will also talk a little bit about how the assignments are handled and the assessment that's a part of this. And then we will end up with just a bit of a description of what happens after you purchase it and how do you and your students get access to the program. So first of all, we would like to point out that both of these programs contain lessons. We have 19 lessons in our Employability Skills Program and we have 18 lessons in our Leadership Soft Skill programs. Each of these includes totally different lists of soft skills in the lessons. So we have 19 soft skills covered in our Employability Skills Program, and we have 18 different soft skills covered in the leadership. So if a student would want to take both courses, they would have a total of 37 different lessons on 37 different soft skills. Both of the programs are set up the same way. They do also include an assessment piece and also a certificate of completion at the end of the course. Here are the 18 specific lessons found, 19 specific soft skills found in our Employability Skills course. And you can see many of them are exactly what industry, business leaders, and employers are looking for in today's employees. And then these are a list of the 18 leadership soft skills taught and covered in that course. The main difference here being as each soft skill is taught, it is also specifically tied into leadership in this specific course. Now, we want to point out some of the features before we dive into the sample lesson so that you can be watching for some of these things as we demo them today. So first of all, you should know that each of these courses provides self-paced learning. You can assign it a couple different ways. You could do it lesson by lesson where you are letting your students know which order you would like them to take the lessons in, or you could give them access to the entire course and have it be self-directed where they just complete the entire thing in whatever order they wish, because each lesson is self-contained, so they can do the lessons in whatever order you either tell them to, or you can give them the freedom to do them in whatever way they wish. Students will be guided through the lesson. There's different visuals and progress monitoring bars and things like that that will point out, that will make it very easy for students to know exactly where they are in each lesson. Basically in each lesson, they learn about the soft skill and then they actually apply it in anywhere from 2 to 4 different activities. There's hundreds of different interactive ways which the content comes to life, and they are tasked with applying the knowledge they've learned in scenarios in a lot of different ways. We will be providing you with an instructor guide on the instructor dashboard, and we'll be going through that to let you know all the different kind of assets that are a part of the instructor guide. Again, there are many, many interactive ways that we are trying to engage students online as we teach them all about these soft skills. Each lesson will have things like embedded videos, animations. We do puzzles, self-checks. Some things are drag and drop. Click on something and it reveals more. These things are called learning objects. So we built a lot of interactivity into each lesson so that students really remain engaged while they're learning, so it makes it fun. There are exercises that are to be completed in each lesson and submitted to you, the instructor. This is what will hold your students accountable for showing and sharing what they have learned in the lesson, and it also gives you something which to look at, tangible to grade. And we'll talk about how that works. For specifics, there are actually 74 exercises in the Employability Skills Program, and there are 75 in the Leadership one that they turn in to you for accountability. And then, of course, there is an assessment piece to it, a pre and a post summative assessment that you will have available to you if you wish to use that as well. So right now, we are going to jump right on over into the host site. And the screen that you're looking at right now is your instructor dashboard. And we'll tell you a little bit about how you access this once you purchase the course. But when you access it, this is the screen that you would be looking at. If you purchased one course, it would be listed. If you've purchased both, both would be listed. So this is how you access your course. And you will see 3 different buttons on the top here. First of all, for employability here, you have your click view course button. And when you click on that, that will take you out to the student dashboard. And this is what students see when they log in and they take a lesson. So this is the dashboard, and it will identify all of the lessons in the course. You can see each lesson can be found because the soft skill is actually identified there for the lesson. And then to begin the lesson, you simply click on the Begin Lesson tab. But before we go into the lesson, I'm going to go back out to the dashboard for just a moment. Also, you have an instructor guide available to you on the second button here. We will go through that after the sample lesson. And then the third button over here says Email Course Link to Students. This is how you give your students access to the course content. You click on that and it takes you out to an actual email like this, where you would put in the student email address, and then this is the link that they go to get to the student dashboard and to jump off onto each student lesson. So we're going to go now into our view course, and this again will take us to the student dashboard, and you can see here are all of our 19 lessons. So let's take a look today. Let's go into self-confidence. So we're going to begin lesson. So we're going to click on the Begin Lesson button. And then it's going to take you to kind of an overview page. And it's going to identify the lesson topic, which is self-confidence. It will give students an overview of the course so they know what things are in each of the lessons and what they're going to learn. So they can read through that. And then when they're ready to start, they simply click on the Start Course button. And it takes them to a page that looks like this. All of the lessons in all of the programs are set up the same way as far as navigation, look and feel. So once they take one lesson, it will become very familiar to them and very easy to use. It's quite intuitive. So we are now into our self-confidence lesson. Now, each lesson has different sections or chapters. Those are identified on the left-hand side of the screen here. On the top, you can also see it says, lesson, it says 1 of 4. This also identifies the fact that I'm in the first section, so it's 1 of 4. So once I get done with the first section, this circle over here will fill in, so I'll know that I'm done with that section, and I moved on to section 2. So you'll see I start out with this lesson by reading through information about self-confidence. I learn a little bit about self-esteem versus self-efficacy, and then it takes me to my very first exercise. So the students would read here, like for example here they say, describe a situation where you did not speak up for yourself, or an instance where it should have been, or you should have been more assertive. So there are text boxes that are provided for exercises where students are tasked with a writing activity. So students would write their answer in here, and then they move on to the next question. And when they are finished with an exercise, they click on the PDF and they actually save this as a PDF, and it's turned in at the end. But we will describe that process a little more in depth in just a moment. So I'm going to go back out to my internet as soon as my technology works here. There we go. So now I've completed the first section, so I'm going to continue. So I click on the continue bar, and you'll notice at the top here, it says 2 of 4. So I'm in section 2, and you can see over here, the circle is filled in. So I know I've completed that, and now I've moved on to section number 2. So again, in this lesson, I'm going to read information, and now I'm going to come upon activity where it's a drag and drop, where it's telling me that I have to drag the card to identify. I read the card and I say, is that a high self-esteem or low self-esteem characteristic? So willing to take risks. Maybe that's high self-esteem. And if it's right, it will let me know. Increased willingness to try. Oh, let me drag it over here to low self-esteem. Now it's wrong, so it won't let me keep it there. It gives me that real-time feedback where I actually have to do this with each of the cards. I read each one and I match it to the right section. And again, if I put it in the wrong place, it lets me know. And then I drag and drop it to the correct one. All right, so it tells me how I also did. So I got 10 out of 12 correct, it says. So moving on, in this particular example, now I have another exercise that I have to do, and this is all about building self-esteem. So your students would read through what they're supposed to do. And again, as they read the questions, there is information, there's an area where they can type their text and it directs them to do so. And then when they've finished this exercise, again, they would click on the Save PDF button and they would save it because they will submit it to you all at once at the end. And as we scroll down, there's more tips for increasing self-esteem. And then we come across to another exercise where it's all about positive self-talk. So they tell students what they're to do. The students go in here, they complete that exercise. They save that PDF for submission at the end, and then they're going to continue. And now you'll notice I've moved on to section 3 of 4, and the first 2 circles are filled in. Now you see I've got a video on how to build self-confidence. So I would watch the video, and you just click on the little button here and the video will play. Most of the videos that are embedded in the lessons are not super long. You know, they're just meant to fit nicely into this type of a format, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So I would view my video, I would read more of the content, and now I have an exercise where I have to do a SWOT analysis. And so I would read through all of those instructions. I would type my answers into the space provided. I would save that as a PDF, and then when I would click continue. And now you can see I've moved on to the very last section of my lesson, to the knowledge check section. And that's kind of the little end quiz, and each lesson ends with a knowledge check. So I'm going to read the question. Let's say I choose that one and I hit submit. It's going to let me know, oh great, I'm correct. If I had chosen a wrong answer, it would have guided me to that as well. So it gives students that instant feedback, whether they, on some of them that are matching or true false or things of that nature, it will give them that instant feedback. We also have scenarios embedded in the end of each knowledge check as well, so that this particular lesson focuses on self-confidence. So the knowledge check scenario will also have a scenario dealing with self-confidence in the workplace. So you would read the scenario, and then the students click the next button, and we have all sorts of good thinking questions that they need to think through, how they would solve the scenario, work through that, and then they type their answer in the space provided, and they submit that and they save that as a PDF. So you'll see at the end here, we click on submit, and it says great job, and then it says you've completed the lesson. So we click on that, and then it will say congratulations, you've completed it. And then students are provided with a way to send all of the different exercises to instructors in one single email. So students would enter their identifying information, whether it be an ID or their name. They would do the instructor email, and then this is where they match up, and they just attach all of the different exercises in this lesson to this email, and they submit it to you, and it easily goes to your email, and you will be able to track student progress that way. So that is kind of the look and flow of a sample lesson. Now I'm going to take you back out to the dashboard and talk you through some of the other things that you have available to you in our courses. First of all, it's the instructor guide. When you click on that lesson or that button, it will take you to an instructor guide that will load, and there's a lot of different information in each of the sections. First of all, on the first section here, we'll tell you how to assign the course content lesson by lesson if that's the approach that you'd like to take. Maybe there's a certain order you'd like them to be taken in. Maybe you've got a syllabus and you've got certain lessons by week that you want to assign. So this will talk you through assigning courses that way. There's also a way you can do it where you just give students the entire access to the course and you say complete this within the next month or whatever. So that talks you through that scenario. Here's information on how you will be receiving those student assignments. And I showed you, and here again is an example of this, the type of email where students are attaching all of the assignments from a specific lesson into a single email, and it will go to you. Now we do have a pre and post summative assessment that students access from the student dashboard, and you have a choice. We have some instructors as well that like to do it before and after so that they can objectively measure the knowledge gained over the life of the course. We have others that just simply use it as the final exam, if you will. But that's available to students on that student dashboard. They click on it, they click on begin lesson, and then it asks them to enter their name, and then they just begin. And again, that is something that would get emailed to you at the conclusion. Now, for tracking student progress, we do have a downloadable Excel spreadsheet that's available to you in each of the instructor guides. This is the one for, oh, maybe this isn't enabled today. It's an Excel doc. Oh, here we go. That lists all of those 74 or 75 assignments by lesson, and you can export it to your desktop if you're able to use Excel in your LMS systems with a class roster. This is the list that you receive that you can download, and here it shows you the lesson topic, and it also shows you all of the different assignments so that when you receive that email from your students, you could populate student names going across the spreadsheet, and then you would just be able to fill those in as you receive them. So it's a great visual and a helping aid to help you track your student progress. Another thing we've done is we've have a section here all about implementation and best practices for managing your course. So just some suggested strategies that you can read through and may be helpful, especially as you're new to the course. Below that, you'll see we have some CTSO connections. We know that a lot of our career tech student organizations like HOSA, FFA, FCCLA, and more all teach leadership, youth leadership development, as well as soft skills. And many of them have competitive events. So in our instructor guide, we have included links to the pages and that go to those types of special competitive events and information for each of the CTSOs that you see on the screen there. And then we've also have a link to just the general CTSO organization as well. And then your students have a certificate of completion that you can give to them upon completion of the program if that's something you would like to do. That is available also from our instructor guide. And then we do have some standard alignments available if you're interested in that type of information. We have one document for the employability and we have another one for leadership. And as we get more alignments completed, we will keep adding to our bank of standards alignments and so forth. And then below that, you'll see there's a section on how to reach out and get help through our customer support if you run into any issues or questions as you use the course. So that's kind of everything that you will find in that instructor guide, which again can be found in the dashboard on that second button over in the instructor dashboard. So if you're interested in once you purchase, how does this work? Well, first of all, you can purchase it in 1, 3, and 5 year license lengths, and you can purchase it by teacher, by school site, which is building, and then by district. Now, we've set it up so that the program can be used with unlimited number of students. There are not a cap of student licenses for so many. Once you've purchased it and get access to the program, it can be used with as many students as, like for a teacher in your class, or if it's a school site, you can use it with as many students as you wish at your school site or building, and same with district. So when you purchase, you will receive an email, and we'll give you unique login information that will take you to those dashboards. And you will give your students access from that one button on the dashboard that says, send email to student. So that's how your students will get that link that's special from the login information that you receive. So once you've purchased something within 24 hours, you get a subscription form and it will be emailed to you. And the form should be completed and returned to us at our product support. And on that form, it asks you to identify the main contact who will be using it. And we use that, we set up all that information, and we send that course access out to you in an email, and then you're all set and you're off and running, and your students can begin to access the course and take those lessons. So that is a kind of an overview of the program, the look, the feel, and how it works. And right now, I would open it up to any questions anybody would have regarding the course content, how it works, and things like that. And Emily is our moderator today. Emily, are you seeing any questions on the chat?
I haven't seen any questions come through yet.
All right. We'll wait another minute or so. All right, seeing no questions, I'd like to thank everyone for spending the time with us this morning to learn more about these two exciting new online courses. I do see something in the chat. Emily, is there a question?
Yes, there is a question. Is there a limit to the number of students in the classroom versus the school?
The number of students will be, if a teacher purchases it, the license is for the number of students that specific teacher teaches. The school site license is among any teachers within that building that wish to teach it. They teach it with their students. So that's the difference between a single teacher with their students versus a whole school with multiple teachers teaching their students. But there is no limit. I mean, if the limit is the amount of students that specific teacher would teach. So I hope that clarified that.
Perfect. And then I'm not seeing any other questions coming in.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the interest in our online courses, and I hope you find them very interesting, engaging for your students. Thank you.